Hi, you're listening to Oh Crap with Jamie. This is a podcast for parents working hard to break the cycles while dropping the F-bomb a lot. I'm your host, Jamie Glowacki, and I am the author of Oh Crap Potty Training and Oh Crap I Have a Toddler. And I am so happy you're here. Hey guys, welcome. All right, today I'm really excited because I have a special guest. Her name is Stahlwood, and she is known as Wildly Ginger on Instagram. And the reason I have her on, Allie, it's so funny because I was like, she's just a mom. Like those words actually occurred to me, and I'm like, nobody's just a mom.
And we're all also just a mom.
All just a mom, exactly.
Yeah.
Allie commented on an Instagram post that I did about batch cooking. And I'm going to read you the comment because just from this comment alone, I was like, please come on my podcast and talk to me. So I had done a post about batch cooking, and she said, well, we have a setup with two other families where one of us cooks dinner for all of us one night a week, and then we have one night for leftovers. So we're each only responsible for cooking dinner once a week. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. So that has 451 likes on it. Just so you know, if we're gauging reaction. And so everybody's like, this is amazing. And then you followed through with, it really is amazing. And it has taken a lot of intention to build that community. It's been so worth it. We all knew we needed a village. So rather than trying to find one, we built one. It's been hard and has sometimes felt like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but it's been so worth it. Oh my God, I could cry. So let's talk about it, Allie, because I did a whole series on the village and what people are running into. And I want to talk about how you built this village and what went into it and what were some of the backslides and the hard parts.
I mean, that's a whole lot to cover. But yeah, let's get into it. So it really started, I grew up in the area where I now live outside of Philadelphia,
Okay.
But had moved away after college. After my husband and I had our 2 boys, we were living in Tennessee and we're just really far from family. And so we moved back to the area to be close to my parents. And we're, sort of looking for our new connections. And the first place I usually go is my local Episcopal church.
Okay.
It's been my go-to. And so I was sort of church shopping around and ended up at one about 20 minutes away from where I live, and for like a social event, not even a church service, and ended up making an amazing connection with a couple of people there that just turned into an immediate friendship. And one of those people, her name is Sarah, lives about 1.5 miles away from me, which is funny because, again, this church is like 20 minutes away. So funny that we live right next to each other. We had moved in 3 weeks prior. She and her family had moved in 3 days prior. And the house that they moved into was the other house that we were looking at.
Oh my God,
that's
so weird.
When we were shopping around for houses. So there was like all this synchronicity.
Right.
So basically 2 families moved to the same town, roughly the same time, and are looking for community. And over the course of the next year, she and I become good friends. Our husbands become good friends.
She had kids?
She does have kids. Yeah, she and her husband have 3 teenagers.
Okay.
So I have 2 littles. I have a preschooler and a kindergartner now. So her kids babysit my kids.
All right. Awesome. So it wasn't like the kids played together. It wasn't like a kid formation first.
No, we became friends first and then sort of like forced our families to be friends.
Okay. That's good to know.
And then a year ago, she and her husband and I and a bunch of other people from our church went on a trip to Iona, Scotland.
Okay.
And we lived in an intentional community there in a 7th century abbey for a week. It was the kind of vacation where you have chores.
Right.
And they have like a really simple community covenant on the wall of just like, work it out and respect each other. And we're like, okay. And just the idea of a whole bunch of strangers coming together to cook meals and clean up the Abbey every day and take care of the building and take care of each other and just exist with each other really left a big impression on us. And her husband, Brad, was the one who by the end of the week said, we got to keep this going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we sat down and talked and figured, what is our biggest need between our two families? And the biggest need, the biggest source of frustration for both of us was dinner.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I would look at each other at 4:00 every afternoon and say, it's time for everyone's favorite question. And we would have nothing thawed and we would have no plan.
Right.
And it would be buttered noodles and apple slices again.
Dude, I'm doing a whole series on like meals and how to do it. And yeah. Dinner, just dinner.
And I mean, like I had a binder full of ideas and, here are quick recipes and crock pot recipes and nothing was gaining traction. And it was just such a source of frustration. And I work a really flexible schedule job, which means I'm kind of always accidentally working. And
right.
We all have just weird schedules. So we said, all right, well, we've got 4 adults and 2 teenagers because one had left at that point, and a couple of other friends in the neighborhood. We've got at base 6 people who can cook dinner. If each of us take a night and we leave a night open for meetings, for leftovers, for date night, whatever, then we each only have to cook dinner once a week.
Yeah.
We're like, yes, this can work. And again, we're only like a mile apart.
Okay.
So half the time, maybe we get together and we eat dinner together. The other half, it's like pack it up in Tupperware and they pick it up or we drop it off or whatever. And we've kept this going for a year.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you think I'm fascinated by the Abbey and the work it out, the covenant on the wall, just work it out. Like I almost feel like,
I mean, that's not exactly what it said.
but it's so simple, right? Like in a way of like, that's what I think we've lost is how to work it out. We've gotten so entrenched, especially in the political division of like, you're this, I'm that, and never the two shall meet.
You're crazy, I'm sane.
Right.
No.
Which is a losing battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Diminishing returns for sure.
And so you guys have been doing that and the work it out. I'm fascinated. Is that where it sounds like that's like you guys got home and you were like, wait a minute, let's work it all out. Let's figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And so you've kept it up for a year. And does anybody want to join? Do you have other people who are like, what are you guys going on here?
We decided that we would take Sunday nights and open it up to our broader community.
Okay.
So we started with one family who also lives in our town, who also is affiliated with that same church. And we said, hey, do you guys want to join us for dinner on Sundays? They said, yep. And then Brad and Sarah's daughter's best friend and her family from a few streets over, they started coming. And then people from across the street, and then other people from our church from like 45 minutes away. And then the guy we met in line at Aldi. And then like literally.
I love it. And so what do you do for the stuff? So you do a big Sunday dinner and then people take leftovers, but they're not part of the meal, the actual like weekly meal thing, right?
Right. We have had a couple of people join along the way. We met a woman named Sophie at karaoke a few months ago, and she has a son who is the same age as my oldest. And she is now part of this as well.
Okay.
As her schedule allows. And, because we have enough people and the ability to work it out, there's a lot of flexibility. Tonight was supposed to be one person's night for cooking, but they are coming down with a cold. So somebody else said, well, I can take over. I can pivot and do this meal plan instead. And
how do you guys work out the meals? Because like so 6 people, guys were pretty tight. So one of the things I look at in creating community is the barriers that people are running into. And one is hyper individualized parenting. And part of that is hyper individualized diets and kids. I would argue I'm doing this whole month. You'll be included. This podcast will be released with a lot of episodes about food and my thoughts on picky eating. And I think a lot of parents have defaulted to I'm special. I'm special. My kid's special. I need special circumstances. That's not going to work for me. And I find that most people, I find today there's a running negative. Like societally, we shifted to I can't. It's not going to work, and finding what's potentially wrong. Did you guys have any struggles figuring out the meals? Like, I won't eat that. Was one person vegetarian, one person a meat eater? Was any of that?
Um, First, I mean, if you're looking for reasons to not do something, you're always going to find a bunch of them.
Yes.
But I think we were really committed to at least trying this out.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the beginning we said, let's try this for a month and see how it goes. But we really want to give it a month because there are going to be growing pains with this. This is going to be an adaptation. There are going to be growing pains here. So,
Sure.
My husband is dairy intolerant. It's not really an allergy, but he prefers to avoid dairy. One of us has a shellfish allergy. One of us has a walnut allergy. It's not like none of us are vegan. None of us are gluten-free. My 5-year-old has some sensory processing things. And he's a very picky eater. And so we tend to make things that can be broken down into components. Like if we have a taco night, or if we do a pasta dinner, or, something that if he only wants to eat pieces of it, he can eat the pieces that are safe foods for him. And he's still also getting exposed to new foods, whether he tries those or not, kind of his business at this point. We are going to offer them.
Yep.
He's not always going to try them.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Exactly. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. Because I could see that being a potential problem. Now, is that your whole community? So in a broader sense, you said this community has been really beautiful. And do you feel like this sort of village started just with the meal thing, and has it grown? I know the guy in Aldi's and like all these random people, but I want to hear more about like what you specifically commented on, like the things that didn't work or that like were barriers for you guys, and how you managed to work through them.
One of the biggest issues for us was being in a scarcity mindset about time. I have all this stuff on my plate. I don't know that I have time for this. Or, you two have become really close friends and are spending an awful lot of time with each other. I feel neglected from one or both of our partners. Or, I'm spending all my time working on building community and I'm not with my kids as much, because at first it was really exciting and there was a lot of energy in it. And it's what Sarah and I specifically really wanted to be pouring our energy into. And it meant that other things got put on the back burner and other people got put on the back burner. And that wasn't balanced of us. It wasn't really fair of us. And it took a while for us to be able to recalibrate. And it took a lot of really hard, really vulnerable conversations, where it's really easy to avoid that kind of conflict and just back off and say, okay, this isn't working. I made someone mad. I'm going to stop. Like if we kept pushing through and we kept working towards the same goal, there were going to be knots that we would have to untangle. But if we worked together to untangle them, then we would get to a place that was better for all of us.
So that is so interesting. Okay. So I think, because yes, you had to back burner some relationships, but don't you think that in any sort of new project, if you will, right? Like you do need that. Things have to be backburnered because you have to capitalize on the spark of energy that lit you guys on fire. Because otherwise, without that spark of energy that made you neglect some things, what would have happened is you would have done the typical, I'm going to keep everything equally balanced, which means I won't have time. Because there's got to be like a time investment. So that's sort of something that I talk to people a lot in building a village, is it can feel like you have no time. It can feel like this upfront load of work, but the dividends pay off. Not just like you guys created something extraordinary with the food. That's amazing. But I'm just trying to get other moms to hold hands with another mom and get some freaking oxytocin in them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And, as we were building up this community between the two families, Sarah and I were still building up our friendship. And my husband, Mark, her husband, Brad, were still building up their friendship. And there were individual relationships going on the whole time. Just sometimes one of those took priority and other times other ones took priority. And I think, we all knew what our goal was.
Yep.
And now here we are, a year after starting this, 2 years after initially meeting and becoming friends with each other. And we've landed in a really good balance, but it did take a year to find that balance and find that equilibrium.
Right. Yeah, because I think also that's what people, I think, when I talk to other moms, there's this real sense of like, what do I want to say? Almost like oversensitivity to, oh, they don't like me. Oh, it's not working. Oh, they said something. And so I love this idea of kind of keeping it in my head of like, work it out. Like I'm even just that. I love that phrase. Get a tattoo so you can keep looking at it. Just work it out. Like I feel like we've kind of lost our commitment to other humans of that. Like
I think there's also this sensitivity about not wanting to take up space and not wanting to show our authentic selves, because what if I annoy somebody? Okay, what if you annoy somebody?
Right.
Are you never annoyed by people? Are you never annoyed by your children?
Right.
I'm annoyed by my children constantly.
Right. Humans are annoying.
It doesn't mean I don't love them. It doesn't mean I don't want to be in relationship with them.
Right.
They're allowed to annoy me. I'm allowed to annoy other people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to like me all the time to love me and to want to be in community with me.
Yes. I think that it is. That feels like such a commitment, though. You know what I mean? It's that commitment to, I think that's why people almost cling to marriages right now, better or worse, but this is my person. But all other relationships don't get that weight, don't get that, I'm going to work it out, better or worse. This person is going to annoy me, and that's okay. People are annoying. Yeah. I'm going to annoy them. Yeah. And the taking up space, that is an interesting one, because I do feel like, I wonder where that comes from. I think there's like individual, but I also know like we're in a current place where the world hates kids. So like moms themselves are like really forced to shrink down, because God forbid you're with your kid and your kid's being a kid. And
right, like you can take your kid to a playground or a museum or you like select few other places, but if you dare to take your kid to a restaurant or on public transit or at a church service or a synagogue, like a place that is not specifically for kids, then they're an inconvenience to other people. No, they are part of this community just as much as anybody else.
It's wild.
And they're learning how to be part of this community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of that, to be fair, like I work with so many people who have done the sort of gentle parenting misconstrued as permissive parenting. And I think there's two things happening at the same time. The world hates kids, but also we went through a rough patch of permissive parenting where people were like, well, could you do something about your kid being a being a turd? And so, but I do
and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, too, we hear that a lot now, too. Like if we expect kids to be off screens at restaurants, then we have to expect them to act like kids. Right. Yeah. And I noticed I did a podcast a couple of years ago where I was like, so one of my things at the grocery store is I like to pay with exact change. And I always have pennies. I don't even know why pennies are still a thing. They're so like obsolete, but I'll like be there counting out my pennies. And I always feel so rushed by the person behind me, by the cashier person. And you know how now they give you the change, they all slap it in your hand and you have to fumble to put it back in your wallet. And I always rush it. And this one day I was like, I'm paying. I'm a paying customer. I'm going to take my time. And I felt like so luxurious. Like I was like, I'm taking up space at the cashier.
Yeah.
And then I did this on my road. It's a busy road to turn onto my street. And there's like a white line where you can kind of move over to make your turn. But I was like, I'm going to put my directional on and I'm going to stop and I'm going to take my turn and the person speeding behind me can stop. And just those two, like, take up space. And oh my God, Ellie, the comments I got on that podcast, people were like, I'm going to take up space with my kid at I want my kids to like help at the checkout, like do the scanning and count out the money. But they feel so rushed. And so I'm fascinated that I really never thought of that in this idea of creating community, like playing small because you don't want to annoy people or you don't want to be perceived a certain way.
Or you don't want people to see your flaws.
Right.
I think also with all of our curated social media presence, we like to have things Pinterest perfect. I don't know if anybody uses Pinterest anymore.
They do.
But great.
I don't. But
my kid's birthday party, I'm going to have a couple of balloons and I'm going to have a banner and I'm going to have a homemade birthday cake.
Yep.
And your kids can run around my backyard.
Yep.
I'm not going to have a bouncy house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to rent out a bowling alley. I'm not going to it's not going to be Pinterest perfect. And if I'm the mom that lowers the bar for everybody else, then I will take that on. The bar's gotten too high.
The birthday parties are crazy. And that's another great place to talk about community, right? So like I was just about to post on Instagram about $5 birthdays. Like have your kid make the other kid's card and put $5 or however many years the kid is, that many dollars. Everybody's happy. The kid is thrilled. The mom of the kid is thrilled. She doesn't have a junky toy in the house. Everybody's happy and it's low cost and the barrier to entry. But also I'm a huge fan of the backyard birthday party. And that way, if siblings want to come on. Like, we
bring your dog, whatever.
Because now we have gatekeeping. Because if you're spending $1,000 at the bounce house, I only bought a ticket for your kid, and it's such a mess. And the barrier again to village is crazy. When you could just have the homemade cake with the homemade frosting and be like, come on, everybody have some.
Absolutely. I made a gluten-free one too. Funfetti makes a gluten-free mix. Great.
There you go.
Come on in.
Yeah, totally. Lowering the bar by a lot. And I think that has the Pinterest worthy, the house, like we used to drop by. People you can't drop by somebody's house. They're so nervous about what their house looks like. And I don't know. We were friends with our good friends when Pascal was younger, my son, the mom, I don't know what happened. This mom like had no cleaning gene. Like her house was, when I say it was a disaster, I mean, it was questionable. Like the bathroom was questionable, but she had installed like a ladder in her hallway on the ceiling. So you could crawl,
like monkey bars.
And then like she always let the kids make fires in the backyard. And like, she allowed them to go up on the roof. Like kids always wanted to be at her house and nobody noticed that her house was pretty, but like not even clean, but nobody cared because the kids had such a good time. And I'm like, I wish we would just, again, the barrier to entry is like, we don't let people in our homes. We don't want people stopping by,
Yep. So that group who went to Iona a year ago, we just had a little get together about a month ago, and one of us hosted it. She lives on like 3 acres, basically a farm in the middle of the suburbs. And she hosted us like out at her pool, and we had a great time. But then we had a couple of people who were joining us via Zoom, and we just couldn't hear each other out at the pool. So we were like, hey, can we like Zoom with them inside? Is that okay? She said, okay, but I haven't cleaned. And she hadn't mowed, and she hadn't, her house was just what her house is, how she lives. And it honestly was so liberating and so much more welcoming to all of us that she was willing to welcome us in that authenticity, without it being curated, without wiping down the baseboards, and nobody cared.
Yeah. I've been saying this for a while, not just the authenticity of the house, but this all started when my kid was little. A friend of mine has 4 kids, and we always got together and had coffee. And she was like, I can't this week. I have 6 loads of laundry. It's horrible. And I was like, so I'll come over and we'll fold laundry. And she was like, I can't have you fold my laundry. And I was like, why? I fold laundry. I know what underwear look like. Like, everybody's got laundry. Let's get it done. So she was like, really? So I went to her house and we sat around and had coffee and folded laundry instead of having coffee and doing nothing. And it went like so fast. And she was like, why aren't we doing this more often? And I think of all the moms who are buried, like just find a mom at a park and be like, hey, you want to fold laundry together? Because I got some at my house. You got some at your house. Let's get this shit done.
Yeah. And like when Sarah and I were first becoming friends, one of the things that we did the most regularly was go to the grocery store.
Yes.
Because we both had to go to the grocery store. And also, if we were coming up with a meal plan where her teenagers were the ones responsible for cooking, like, they're not going to go to the grocery store.
Right.
So what do we need? Let's go. I hate going to the grocery store. It's so much better with a friend.
It is so much better. I do that. We go to the big one, the Costco. I do that with a friend because otherwise I'll cry. It's too overwhelming.
It's really overstimulating. Yeah. I will also spend way too much money if I don't have someone there to be like, you don't need that. Stop it.
Oh, well, also too, because of the size, it's just me and my son. I don't need Costco size anything. Like,
so you split stuff with people.
Yeah. We used to do that when I lived in San Francisco. Yeah. But that's a great idea. Yeah, grocery store. So guys, like, I think the thing here is like you, Allie, found it through food and making dinner, which by the way, I'm pretty sure if you go up to any stranger mom at the park and be like, want to change dinner dates? Do you want to cook dinner for each other? I'm sure that everybody would be into it. But also these household tasks that are such a chore, right? Those are how we invite people into our mess, invite people into. Yeah. And now throughout your thing, I know you and Sarah have gotten it going on, but have there been difficult people along the way? Have there been people that you've been like, I don't want you?
Her husband Brad and I butted heads for a while.
Okay.
We are really similar in a lot of ways, in ways that I found funny and he did not. Okay. But we have gotten to know each other so much better over the course of this year, and it really just took time. Mm-hmm. And my perspective on it, I can't speak for him, but my perspective on it was, I think she's awesome and she thinks he's awesome. So then we're probably both awesome.
Right.
And if we can see that in each other, that's great. And also we can be in community and not have to be best friends.
Right.
You don't have to want to spend every minute with everyone you're in community with. There can be people that,
that's a good point.
You are cordial with and are respectful with that you're not best friends with. And that's okay. Now, he and I have become really good friends over the course of the past year. But it had to start with taking the temperature down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Again, lowering the bar.
Yeah. What a good point, though. Like, I think Sarah's awesome and Sarah thinks we're both awesome. Therefore, we must be. Because I like that's that way of thinking. Well, I call it too the concentric circles of the village. That not like your village is made up of not just your people who are exactly like you. It's made up of, and I probably though, because I think the key thing is you had church, and I church is almost like and I know it can take a while to find a church that suits you, but I feel like there's such inherent community there that it's
that's where I start.
Yeah, it's somewhat easier. Yeah. Are there any, no, you're training to be a minister, correct?
I am.
You're in
I am in seminary to be an Episcopal priest.
That's awesome. How is that going?
It's great. Okay. It's awesome. My laptop right now is currently balanced on top of the Book of Common Prayer.
Okay.
Give it a little
give it a lift.
It's a almost all online seminary. Okay. It's called Church Divinity School of the Pacific, but people are based everywhere from Guam to Maine.
Okay.
And we all met up in person for 1 week in Portland, Oregon about 2 weeks ago. So again, coming together to be intensively in community with each other, having, for me and the 10 other people in their first year, having never met in person before.
Yeah. What is Episcopalian? What I don't think I know.
We jokingly call it Catholic Light.
Okay.
So all of the pageantry, it looks a lot like a Catholic service.
Okay.
But a little bit less, Catholic-y? A little bit more open.
Okay.
So like anybody can take communion, and we
Okay.
are affirming of same-sex unions, and yeah.
All right.
So
Cool,
it's
cool,
sort of
cool.
like a cross between Protestant and Catholic.
Gotcha. I get them all confused. What would you say to somebody? Do you know of denominations, or are there churches? Is that more like Unitarian or something like that? For people who, I just find so many people lost a little, probably spiritually, kind of because of being damaged by organized religion as a child, and they kind of threw out the spiritual baby with the religious bathwater, or they
Yeah, my
threw out
husband did that.
the community baby with the religious
Yeah.
bathwater.
Yeah. I was raised Episcopalian. My dad's an Episcopal priest. I was literally raised in an Episcopal church.
Okay.
So for me, that community has always been like the backbone
Okay.
for me. It's always been there. So when I go someplace new, that's a natural starting point for me. And because I don't actually know that I've ever heard hell mentioned in a sermon,
Mm,
and there's, it's not fire and brimstone. It's
right.
more blessed are the meek and love God and love your neighbor and seek and serve justice for all people.
Work it
Um,
out.
work
Work
it
it
out.
out.
Yeah. Eat some bread, drink some wine, work it out.
What's so hard about that?
I didn't have that religious trauma, and I consider myself really lucky
Hmm.
for that. But my husband does come from more of a tradition of he has experienced religious trauma, and he and his whole family have really veered away from organized religion entirely. Um, he'll come to like our social events. He
Yep.
does not particularly want to go to a church service, but he also doesn't mind it.
Hmm.
But I think for me, the biggest thing is start where there's already an established community.
Right.
Because whether it works out for you or not, or whether you meet your people there or not, that community isn't gonna fall apart immediately if you're not able to show up right off the bat.
Right.
Like
Right.
you
Right.
can sort of ease in. Um,
So is it cheating
and
if you want to go to church for community and you're not really
no,
sure about church? You're like, I'm not sure about the God religious thing, but I want to meet people.
you
I
know
want
what?
community.
So when I was in college, I was trying really hard to get away from the Episcopal Church because, again, I was raised in it. Um, I majored in religious studies, but I studied Buddhism.
Okay.
And right after college, I went to a Buddhist university in Boulder. And I was kind of hell bent. Oh, there's a kitten. On,
I love it. Hi,
well,
kitty.
I was kind of hell bent on not being Episcopalian.
Hmm.
It didn't stick. But, I was trying to find community elsewhere. I was trying to find it in this little university I went to. I was trying to find it at the gym, in a yoga class, in a number of different places. And to a degree, it worked. And I know that works really well for some other people. Um, but ultimately, by my mid to late 20s, I was really missing that sense of community that I had growing up. And so
Right.
I started going back to an Episcopal church for community.
All
And
right.
the community is what drew me in. The music is what sort of kept me.
Hmm.
Um, and it really was about the music and the community much more than it was about God for me for a really long time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and I feel like I know my mother was national Catholic, and we've gone to mass with her, and I find it fascinating. I feel like so many of the churches, and maybe there still are a lot of the fire and brimstone Catholic, but like it's all coming down to the same thing. It's all about love. Like love each other, take care of each other. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm probably going to get a tattoo that says "work it out." Like this conversation is like made that like, yeah, just work it out.
I love it. I clearly get a lot of tattoos. So,
Yeah. um so I always feel like it doesn't matter without being attached to the dogma of any particular religion. Like I can listen to my mother's priest, who I'm not a fan of. He's got some of the creepy priest thing going on, but I can still hear the gospel and be like, okay,
yeah.
I can hear the love in this. I can filter it through whatever your religious filter is. So that's good to know. So I'm just putting it out there, you guys. You heard it from Allie. She's going to be a minister, so she knows what she's talking about. You can use church as community. And I think it is, like you said, it's great to find the places. Because I think a lot of people just automatically step into the other parents whose kids are in kindergarten or the other parents
Right.
on the baseball team. And those are part of your community, but you're not necessarily, you're there for that purpose that's going to disseminate if the team breaks up or.
Sure. But also, if you've got a scout troop in your neighborhood that you've got a couple, your kids in it and a few other parents in your neighborhood are in it, it can be so easy to just like schmooze a little bit when you're in the same place and then everyone go off into your own individual silos. It's a lot harder to say, hey, do you want to come over for dinner?
Yeah.
Do you want to walk the dogs? Do you want to it can be hard to reach out because I think we're afraid of rejection and we're afraid of overcommitting ourselves. And, there's a lot of fear and anxiety over a lot of things. But if you can reach out and you can go on that dog walk and it's not terrible, and then the next week you can go to the grocery store together and you can just keep reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time and it takes effort and it takes intentionality, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking I don't remember the last time somebody said, do you want to come over for dinner? I would be like, yeah, like that's such an honor.
You don't have to get dressed up. This is not our parents' dinner party.
Right, right. No, and it's interesting because I've just decided I live in New England and New Hampshire has 48 4,000 footers. And if you do them all, you get a badge. And I love badges or gold stars. And so I decided to do them, but I'm by myself and I don't have an inner GPS. I get lost finding my own bathroom. So for me to just be hiking out on my own is a little sketch. And so I've just found these Facebook groups and anybody I see who posts about hiking, I'm like, hey, can I come? Or do you want, I'll drive. And I've already bagged like 13 peaks with different people. And it's been so fun. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like I unlocked a hiking door that I didn't know existed, a whole community that was like right there in front of me, but I didn't know till I did the active reaching out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And meetups and like Facebook groups are so great for that.
Yeah. Let's use the internet for good.
Right.
So far, we're not. We're hitting an impasse with that.
I have curated my Instagram to be a really lovely place to be.
Yes.
It's a lot of like mini Highland cows.
Oh, yes.
And like ducks wearing backpacks and things. It's really lovely. But yeah, I steer clear of Facebook.
Yeah, I don't have Facebook anymore, but I do like I try to tell people that like you can actually change your algorithm, and I just went for like good news. Like I just want the happy news and and it's really funny. It's just such a I can tell some people get stuck in the silo of it and think it's real life. Like every post is an affront to them, and I'm like, guys, it's just a billboard. It's like
it has nothing to do with you.
If it doesn't apply, just keep going. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's a little I worry about people. I worry about their mental health on it. So yeah.
Yeah. And some of the like best skills that I've gained have been from following homesteaders on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Like I learned how to make cheese from Instagram.
Of course. Chickens. I have 37 chickens. I need to
I have 4
Instagram to figure out how to stop.
I only have 1 that's laying eggs right now. The rest are freeloaders.
Oh my God. Where do you live? I'll send you eggs.
Philly.
Okay, that'd be expensive. Yeah, we have dozens and dozens of eggs. No, I love it. I love the useful part of it for sure. Yeah. All right. Very good, Allie. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me and sort of reaffirming and highlighting some of the things I've been telling my people about community. And I think it's just a really great real life example of how to stretch yourself, but then the rewards are so great.
Yeah. I think, for me, the biggest thing has been don't wait for a village to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you find somebody else who wants to be a village, build a village together.
Build it.
And you can't always choose everyone who's in your village. It can't be
Right.
like, a curated charcuterie board.
Right. Right. There's going to be some bad olives on there.
Right. And if you expect people to accept you on your worst day, you have to accept other people on their worst day.
I feel like we all are. I feel like everybody's very accepting of other people on their bad day, but we get so fearful of us having the bad day or us being the burden, like that playing small. Yeah.
Well, and that sort of leads into just one more quick thing. I think a lot of us are so willing to show up for other people. Your neighbor across the street just had a baby. Here's a casserole. Like, what can I do to help? How can I help other people? It can be a lot harder to be the one asking for or accepting help.
Yes.
Like when I was in Portland for that seminary week-long intensive, I left my husband and 2 small children at home during their first full week at a brand new school.
Right.
I could not have done that if it weren't for Brad and Sarah and their family, because I knew that my kids and my husband were being taken care of by our broader community.
Right.
And that we've gotten to a point with them where we can accept help as well as give it.
Right. And I think with help too, I think it's always, I love both in giving and receiving. I love when people are specific. I love it. Like
Yes.
when people, hey, I need some help. Would you mind dropping by with something to eat for the kids? It's their first day of school. Yes, I can absolutely do that on Monday at 3:00. Not a problem.
Yes.
So, but also, and when I'm offering help, instead of saying, let me know what I can do, I'm like, I'm going to the market. Give me a quick list. I'll pick up whatever you need, being specific.
Right.
Yeah.
And if somebody is offering something that is not what you need or is not at a time that's going to work for you, also say that.
Yeah. And especially as a grown up and as a parent, like I do not have time to guess. I do not have time. Like you just tell me what you like. If you don't like what I'm giving, absolutely not a problem. We'll find something else. Yeah.
I'm not going to take it personally. If you need to meet on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, that's fine.
Right. And I do think the reaching out to, one more thing I wanted to say was the reaching out. I tell people all the time, like I've always been a single mom. So like, I feel like I didn't have there was no backup. So I had to be really brutal and kind of overly bend for everybody. Cause I knew I needed other people in my life, other women, especially. And so, and in fact, now my son's 19 and I've gone through menopause and I'm like, fuck off to everybody who wants me to bend now. Cause I have been bending for everybody and now I'm done. And so I'm like going through this rigid phase. But one of the things I have found as an adult is we find it so challenging to make friends. And I literally have found that the best thing to do is say, I really like you. Can we be friends? And literally I've
like kindergarten.
Like
yes.
kindergarten. But I've had the best response because people go, I like you too. Yeah, let's be friends. Like, it seems so awkward and it's like a funny moment, but you have to be, I'm not a subtle person. Like I'm not going to pick up on it. Guys will flirt with me and I'm like, really? What? I didn't pick up on it. So I got to be like,
I have ADHD. Make it obvious.
I was like, I like you.
Yes.
So, yeah. And so even that kind of fun social awkwardness turns into like a really great thing. So
yeah. And like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
They say no.
And then you move on with your life.
Right. I think people are so scared of that. And I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like, I am definitely not everybody's cup of tea. So if you don't want to be my friend, just say it. Don't give me your number and then block it.
No. That is a waste of time and energy. Just, It's been lovely to meet you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye. All right, Allie, thank you so much for this conversation. And I will
thank you for having me.
See you on the better side of Instagram, yeah?
May we make a better side of Instagram.
Right? I'm trying my best.
You're doing great. Thanks, Jamie.
As always, you guys rock on. Have a beautiful day and put down your phone. Bye.